Welcome back. Welcome to the start of a new anime review series. This is The Devil is a Part-Timer anime review, episode number 1. We're reviewing the first 3 episodes of this really quite strange series. Yes. Now, your cast is simply this. The main character is voiced by Josh Grell, before he changed his name to Jesse James Grell, because he's transgender now. For reasons I do not know why. He did this 2 months after I met him. This year. Yeah, and now basically is now credited as that. This way, like, if you watch the anime, they still credit him under his birth name, Josh Grell, not Jesse James Grell, as he calls himself nowadays. Yep. Yeah, and he's the start of the series. Now, there's also a hero. Of course, he is the devil. This is Sao Mudo. Yeah, well. Sorry about that. Excuse me in here. If you're curious what I was doing, something's named uncomfortable, so I fixed it. So don't worry about that. So, yeah. So, his real name is Satan. Well, I'll call him, he called King Satan. Him and his general are in a losing battle against the heroes. So to flee this world to Earth. Yes, him, his own general, and at this point, a hero follows him. A hero by the name of Emilia, who goes by the name of Emmy here, and she's voiced by Felicia Agel. And Felicia Agel, for her, this is for me, because I've seen a good chunk of her series. If I can find it, here we go. This is the 24th series I've come across for her. Yep. I'm not sure about Josh Grell. I have no idea. So, in the case of his general, if you're curious who's the voice of him, that is a guy by the name of Anthony Bowling. Yep, he is the voice of him. Yep, he was also an absolute duo as Oi Tursky. He was Yuka Saki in Fairy Tail. He's also Chimp from My Bride is a Mermaid. I believe he was the monkey one for the group. He was starting as Gregory Edgeworth for like 5 episodes. Let's see. He was also in My Hero. He's the voice of Skeptic. He was in Dragon Ball Super as a couple characters. Isekai Quartet as Veneer. He is the main character from Cautious Hero. The Heroes of Cautious are Protected. He's come from Bofuri. He was the AR director on Our Last Crusade, The Rise of a New World. If you're familiar with Spy X Family, he's the voice of Frankie Franklin. And he's Kamwatsu from One Piece. Yes. He's like, ba ba ba. Yep, that was him. Yep. Yeah. Great character. So these two arrive in their rare outfits. Now here's the thing. Here's something I thought was really strange. So when the anime starts out, everybody's speaking a different language. I'm presuming this is Japanese. And for some reason, Crunchyroll... Well, this is Actress Funimation who did this, but now Crunchyroll basically owns it. Because apparently originally was released under Funimation, but now under Crunchyroll. And apparently this first season came out a decade ago. Yeah, like 10 years ago. And then they said release second season just recently. I heard about this show. And I was like, really? Why the heck would you wait 10 years? Because here's the thing. These episodes aired from April to June of 2013. The second season, which by the way, they're actually airing it right now. When I last looked at it, they were actually the third and last episode they released dubbed. That came out just like a little over like 9 years later, like last year, and basically it just ended. It actually just ended just last week. It's the last episode came out. The series makes it is White Fox. You're thinking White Fox? That seems familiar. Yes, because I reviewed several of the series. Akame Gotta Kill, one of my favorite series. I'm not really thinking the ending, but still a good show. ReZero, Freya, Cautious Hero, And that's it. Yeah. Oh yeah, they also did Goblin Slayer as well. So this was technically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is technically the 6th show that I have watched. They basically adapted. If we look at more about the cast, I should mention though this is based on a light novel series, which from what I heard has since concluded. Yes, the series is over. Excuse me, after only 21 volumes. Yep. So, because when they arrive in the real world, because it's Japan, it's a Japanese show, where do they end up? Tokyo, of course. Yep, not Kyoto, not Okasawa, it's Tokyo. Yes, because Japan loves showcasing Tokyo. Presumably the biggest thing in the whole country is their capital. And I'm kind of like, there are cities in Japan you can show off, but my guess is Tokyo is the most, like, for top people's head, it's probably the most familiar one they can think of. So they arrive there, and they're wearing their same outfits. Satan, basically, no, he's not the actual one from the Bible. It's different Satan, it's his name. He shrinks. His devil look, his demonic look had disappeared. He's shrunk down a few inches. They get brought to the police station, and then they hypnotize the police officer, who turns out he's voiced by Sonny Surratt. And, well, from what I've read, he's actually related to a character we'll see later on, but we'll get to that. So, they figured, okay, they need to establish some new identities, so they go to hospital, obviously, and then, of course, they form new identities, and, of course, they get money. They also get a place to live, basically what's described as a crap hole, which is basically a very small apartment. Now, the apartment look reminded me a lot of the apartment that partially Jahe had from The Great Jawa Undefeated, which is a very similar premise, this one, where it's a bit reverse isekai, where it's like a whole bunch of characters from this demonic world ended up in the real world, and she wants to reclaim her power, and she actually was bigger than she actually was. It's a similar premise, but at least the main character's not turned to a little boy, like Jahi was turned to a little girl and wearing a t-shirt. So, then of course they change their names. So, Satan is now referred to as Sato Madu, and his servant, his general, Sil, is now referred to as Shiro Ashi. So they get jobs. Ashi can't keep a job long enough, so his due is just research and do housekeeping. So Sato gets a job at McDonald's. What is McDonald's, might ask? Why is the show stand in for McDonald's? Yep, that's what literally it is. Like, basically the hat he wears, it's the same type of hat that I wear at my work, except that mine is blue, his is red. And it's probably the Japanese equivalent to the McDonald's, because the interior is very similar, the kitchen area looks very similar, but the staff room is different. Basically, what we refer to as our break room, or the crew room mostly. Yeah, ours is different than what they have over there, because when they show the show, I'm not sure this is like that for our restaurants in Japan. So, anybody who has worked at a restaurant in Japan, please just let me know if this is really true, where it is a small room, it has a table, a couple chairs, presumably a microwave, and high school lockers. Now you might be thinking, does my crew room and my work, do we have lockers in ours? Yes, we do. Except they're the size of safes, like small safes. There is slightly bigger lockers, except those for managers, those but slimmer. Those ones you see at American high schools. These ones are body length. These ones. And of course they just break in here. And this is where we introduce Chie. Voiced by Tia Ballard, who is a bundle of joy. And there's a joke about her chest size in episode 3. I'll get to that. So, then at the end of episode 1, now at one point in the episode, it actually was how the book started with Satan being chastised. I thought it was a woman chastising what it was written in the book. No, it was his general. Like, he had chastised for spending so much money on a refrigerator, a washing machine / dryer, and a bicycle. And it's like, well, we need those. Yeah, he spent too much at once. That was the problem. The bicycle he used to get back for the work, well, that is until about partway into episode 3 where the bike gets wrecked. How this wreck, might ask? Well, we'll get to that. So, after coming home late from work, he runs to Amelia. Yep. Runs into her and wonder what the heck is going on. Of course, they finally, and of course, she got a job, and basically working as a office work. Well, basically, she's kind of like a telemarketer. No, not a marketer. Well, like someone who answers phone calls. Yes, in these cubicles. Yeah, and one episode, I think episode 3, she gets a phone call, which of course they get close to that later. And Chie, of course, is constantly near Sato the whole time, and of course she's very friendly. And the fact that here's kind of the thing, Emil proceeds to follow around Sato almost the entirety of episode 2 and a little bit of 3. Yeah, eventually she does stop. Don't worry about that. So, she already knew exactly where he and his general lived. And the thing is, in private, despite the fact his name is Seru, he still refers to Satan as Your Majesty or Sire. He at one point called him King Satan, eat your food. And the whole thing with him is, oh, I get plenty to eat at work, basically, because I eat a bunch of hamburgers. Here's the thing. Since I worked there in 5 years, I have very rarely eaten hamburgers from there. From my own work. I very rarely ever do. I mostly eat chicken when I'm there. I basically order chicken sandwiches because I like chicken. Yep, that was simply the reason for what happened with that. So, of course, he's a model employee. I think at the end of episode 1, he gets sort of called in his office by his boss, who is a very beautiful woman, and is voiced by Caitlin Glass. Now, I thought she kind of like Jamie Marceri, but that's what I heard anyways, but no, this is not Jamie. That's Caitlin Glass who's voicing her. And we do see Chie home. Of course, the whole thing at the end of the episode is talking about earthquakes, and supposedly we get sort of a start of a resolution in episode 3, but we'll get to that. So eventually by episode 3, Chie goes on a date with Sato. Yeah. And of course, she kind of not exactly asks her, of course, on a date. And of course, his editor proceeds to pick out like an outfit for him. And she picks out this nice plaid dress with, and of course, is pointed out by Emil, new shoes, new hairdo to show the fact she's available. And of course, basically, Sale basically watching from a distance just to keep an eye, make sure nothing really bad happens. And also, this is the scene where it points out, man, she's got bigger rack than I do, and she's younger than I am. I'm like, okay. Yes, this is a constant gag in anime, and the English dub loves keeping this in, where women poke fun at each other because of their chest size. You're like, oh, my chest is small because the armor I wear. Because I'm a growing girl, like... It's just so funny. Yeah, and oddly enough, it is strange though, Chie, like, I thought this was Sarah Winehoff. Nope, it's not her, it's Tina Ballard. It just basically, like, you would think a young character, very bubbly girl, you would think it's Sarah Winehoff. Nope, it's Tina Ballard. Which, from what I can think of, she has a voice a lot of characters very bubbly like this, because the last one I could think of she did like this I've seen was actually Carrot from One Piece. An absolute wonderful character that I kind of wish basically they had a lot better resolution for her at the end of basically Wano than what they actually did give, because basically I thought she was a good character. They should have kept her around more than just, I don't know, like 3 story arcs, because she made a debut in Zoe and she last year in Wano, but that's something else. That's a different conversation altogether. So then, of course, you actually have where Emil basically kind of interrupts the day of Sato and Chie, and of course, basically, like, they argue and they think that they used to date. They really didn't. And then an earthquake happens where apparently everybody gets buried. So Emil easily points out to Chie has a thing for Sato. She has on it first, but she admits it, and then she proceeds to knock her out. And then, like, okay, because she has the whole thing, like, I'm going to take you down, and he's going to do it. And then for some reason, he's restored to his regular size he was in the previous world. Even he questions, what the heck happened? Why am I like this for? And he's out to protecting humans, which is different than what he normally does. He has to protect Chie because he probably thinks he's special. She's being special to him. Like, okay, interesting. Where's his general, you might ask? Don't know. But this is a good start for the series, and I'm really enjoying it. Okay, so that's it for particular review. Next up, surprisingly, I'm going to do a One Piece review where I'm going to talk about the live action series. Because I have watched the first 2 episodes of this thing. Because, like, I really want to talk about this because it's so awesome. Okay? Next video. Bye.